Whether it's a mosquito or some other type of critter, they invade our lives, as you know, every day, potentially causing illness. But did you know there's a risk now that house mice could be carrying antibiotic-resistant bacteria? It's estimated that as many as 1 in 4 mice might be carrying drug-resistant germs. And this was actually looked at. And they were in New York. They looked at the 4 different boroughs: Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens. 37% of the mice contained at least one pathogen. 23% carried at least one resistant pathogen, antibiotic-resistant pathogen. And even though this was in the New York City area, it's estimated that this is occurring probably in environments across the country. We live in a time, and I don't think people fully understand how potentially scary antibiotic resistance is. We now know that most bacteria are good for us. They are our friends. But these pathogens, the bad ones, we are losing our ability to treat them. And when you hear about things like mice, which we don't like to think about it, they do. They get in our homes. They hang out, and they're carrying these things. That's of concern.
Right.
So why is this happening with mice in particular, do you think?
Mice come in contact with a lot of unsavory areas. They also eat what we eat, and they'll eat the medications, everything that we have. So what's happening is they're coming in contact with bacteria, and then they're able to fight it, but we're not able to fight those. So they're easy to be transferred by mice. They don't necessarily need to come in direct contact with you to spread that bacteria. They can brush up against something that you touch, and then you can get it.
And what are some clues that you may have some mice living with you at home?
Number one, you're going to see the droppings all over because they can't control their bowel movements. So they drop turds everywhere.
What, you've never seen mice turds in your house?
No. You have?
Whoa, yeah.
No, I
have to confess, I've had a turd problem recently.
Have you?
Yeah, and fortunately most of the turds were just outside the door, but I found a few inside. And if you see these turds, I'm calling them turds, but they're mice droppings. Because rats typically, they want to be outside, right?
Yes, most definitely. There's not enough food source inside your home for rodents. So when rodents are in your home, they're normally in your attic or like your sub area, and they have to be able to get in and out. So it has to be some type of entrance for them to get in and out of your home. And they're not gonna chew their way in. Mice, on the other hand, they can get under something as simple as your door. They can squeeze under your door, so you need to always have some type of door sweep or something there to prevent them from getting in.
Well, interesting enough, why is this happening in mice? Probably for similar reasons as it happens in humans. The mice are probably ingesting antibiotics that they're getting either from the trash or whatever. And why do we develop resistance in humans? Well, it's taking antibiotics when you don't need it. Yes. It's taking antibiotics in the wrong way for the wrong period. So it makes sense that
basically these are mice taking antibiotics they don't need.
Exactly.
And the pathogens are finding ways around the antibiotic.
And then those pathogens are there, and probably not going to be a big problem, but potentially, if you're sensitive to it, if you breathe it in, for example, or if you ingest it, if it gets into what you're eating, potentially a problem.
What was also interesting was that in the study, they found that the mice, when they had these infections, in some instances, they weren't being impacted by the infections, but they could still spread the germs and affect humans. So the mice might not be sick, but they can still make humans sick as they travel from building to building. So
they're so cute.
They are not cute. The bed bug, you like bed bugs, and
I don't like bed bugs, but a mouse is pretty doggone cute. Look at those guys. Look at them. They're just hanging out.
Do you really think they're cute?
Yeah, I do. Now, do I want one climbing over my head at night? No, but so Nick, sounds to me like if you're worried when it comes to anything inside your house that could be a potential cause of harm, call the professional. Is that your advice?
Definitely. I would recommend trying to do it by yourself for about a week.
A week?
If you can't get something under control in a week, call a professional, because most professionals, all professionals, have tricks to the trade that they can do to really take care of the problem.
It's fun.
I like that idea of giving it a week.
Little peanut butter, put a nut on it, maybe a little jelly.
Is that's the best way?
For rodents, yes.
That's the best one.
That's the best.
I hate when the mouse outsmarts me. I do all that, set that trap up, perfect spot, put a whole spread, then I go in there, check my trap, and he's eating everything, and I haven't caught him. How can that be? I'm smarter than that mouse.
What? Who are you gonna call?
Nick.
The exterminator.
Thank you, sir.